Hello! Well, I'm What If Study, and today we are continuing What If Deku and Class 1A had died. We are continuing off where Deku is face to face with media. People seeing their top one hero now murdered one of the villains. It freaks them out, you know? I mean, after all, it's their top hero. It's insane to think that he could kill somebody. As, you know, this enrages him. After all, it's just a simple misunderstanding. It's just a misunderstanding, he says. That this is all wrong. You know, he's hurting, you know? He doesn't want them to see this. He wants to be the top hero, to be the person that the shadows tell him to be. But they all just stare at him, the shadows. The agency comes up, finally. You know, just like putting their arms over his shoulders, saying that, you know, they're gonna take him into, like, for questioning about the death of the Joker, basically. He goes willingly, however, as he lets go of his hand, you know, trying to keep himself calm. After all, this is pretty serious stuff. He needs to get back to reality. As, you know, he's taken in this limousine. The guy in the front looks a little nervous. He's sweating a little bit. They get to the secret underground place as the ground unheaves itself and falls down into the sub-layer, revealing a gigantic cavern full of technology, different villains locked up. It was basically the Iron Heights of the My Hero Academia world. The land is replaced easily by one of the quirk users by the side. It seems like nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. He's driven down all the way down to this one room, as all of the walls seem to get smaller and smaller, and then get darker, as then they get into this almost premature room. It seemed to be the earliest room that had ever been discovered. He had passed several super suits on the way here. Different places that looked wrong. He sits down as, you know, the other guy takes his seat too. He doesn't have a sheet, nor does he have any papers. He just sits there, staring at Deku. Deku couldn't help but look to the left and see Kirishima, like, running up on the guy, and he just flags down Kirishima as Kirishima calms himself down. All the shadows he disperses to go back into his body. So that's it, eh? What? Your quirk. It's gone. There's nothing but an empty hole there now. How did you... I can sense quirks, kid. I can tell them just by looking. And your eyes tell me that there's an empty hole. Something about you has died. Well, that's just preposterous. Your whole class died. I wouldn't doubt you. However, with that, your quirk has changed with it, hasn't it? Changed to something darker. Are you perhaps hearing any voices? You think I'm insane? Yes. Oh, that's a good judgment. Why, yes, I am hearing voices. People. My friends. He doesn't take any notes, however, he nods his head slightly. I see. So everything we can assume is going, well, horribly for you. All of the pressures of the people wanting you to be the top hero. And everything that you want to do is just falling apart. Is that right? That's the simple way to say it, yeah. What do you mean about, you know, what are you gonna do about it, at least? To help you? Kid, we barely have, we have our hands tied as it is. but I will offer you a way out. A way out? How is that possible? Don't worry, kid. In this hand, this pill, he takes out, this pill from the right side of him. It's this, like, greenish pill with, like, a red ring around it. This pill, it'll get rid of all of the pain that you have, all the pain. And your quirk was also supposed to disappear when you use this. However, since you have no quirk anymore, it'll just get rid of the pain, so I'd say it's worth it. I didn't ask for your opinion, but thank you anyways. No problem. This pill, as he reaches into his back pocket, shuffling a little bit to struggle to get it out, he starts to sweat even more. His suit clearly is way too tight on him. He pulls it out. It almost whips it as he opens up his hand. It's this blue one. This will make you forget everything that has happened. You normally say that these are basically the same thing, is that right? But the blue pill will make you forget that your friends have died. We have made it to exactly the proportions that it needs to be, to almost exactly before the UA attack, almost days, to the exact time of 8 o'clock. Deku takes a second. He stands up, trying to wanting to walk out of the room. The guy says, "Wait. This is no trick, Deku. This is serious. Why should I trust you? Any of you? Because we're your only friends right now. Aizawa sent us. He knows you're in pain and he's in it too. But he's an adult and you're a kid. You couldn't take this much power, this by yourself. Please let us help you. That's all we want to do." In this moment of sort of, he really needs to stop feeling now. He really, really does. He picks up the green pill out of his hand as he puts his hand on top of Deku's hand, saying, "Please, come back to us safe." This cryptic message, but also understood by Deku. Deku starts walking out of the place, looking at all the villains, each one that he has taken down personally. He says hi to some of them, and says that he's going to change. And then he walks up to the final one, the final cage. It had been broken down, opened, destroyed. It had the body of the Joker in it. He was still smiling, wildly, his teeth broken and his eyes a blur. But he looked at least more alive than him. Son of a bitch. As he makes his way out, many of the people spot him walking by. All of them, taking pictures like, "Oh my god, it's the top hero." He starts to realize the exact pressure that's on him to become the top hero. And to attain that, this pill. Is he going to... Will he lose his power? Or will he gain it? He walks up to a billboard on the side of that highway. This billboard had the eyes of a priest, Mr. Garney. It was this poster for eye surgery. A man with glasses, looking over the town. These eyes, they pierced through his soul almost, but he found it comforting to sit for just a second. He looks at the green pill and back to himself. He slips it into his mouth, crunches down on it. No. He lets it sit for a second, and then fully gulps it down with a huge thud into the back of his throat. He looks down to his hands, waiting for the effects to take place. All the shadows look back at him from under the billboard. He falls gently asleep. He wakes up on top of that billboard. The man that had given him the pill standing right next to him, saying, "So you really did it. How do you feel?" Deku gets up, this energy that he feels. He looks around and sees no shadows, sees none of his friends. But he doesn't feel loneliness now that they're gone. No, he feels like he's free. Is it all gone? Is it truly all gone? He looks up to see the man as he starts to walk over to him to shake his hand. However, he says, "Wait a minute. Don't be so happy just yet. Look over there." As he points up to the Hosu City. It's on fire. Huge destruction of places and people, and just death. He can feel it he can sense it almost from that place. There seems to be no one left. The guy says, "After you had taken the pill, I came over here to check on you. A being of pure, unimaginable, just despair seeped out of your body and had made its way in that general direction." He sees a huge explosion come from the side of it, destroying half of the city. "Well, we can't just stand here now, can we? Come on, let's go!" He says. How, in the face of such power, such undigestible just terror, what am I supposed to do? You're supposed to be the top hero. Come on. Be that top hero everybody needs you to be. Not the one that everybody needs you to be, but the one that you want yourself to be. He gets down on the ground, anchors his legs and down, shifting his body weight lower and lower and lower until he gets into a runner start. The ground underneath him starts to curl and bend, as if, yeah, that's his powers, alright. Bending his knees, it seems to snap some of the cords in his legs just from the power. The sheer extendability of his body is now increased. His whole body just bends like a string, like a cord, and then and he shoots off, gliding along the ground like he's just bursting past the speed limit. He looks down to see his legs not even moving. He had used such a powerful kick to do that. His right leg was hurting badly, almost as if he kicked a metal pole. The feeling of that. And he swiftly makes it to a building, seeing the first biggest building with its glass blown out of it. He can't stop himself though, because, well, how is he supposed to do that? And then he uses his other leg to jump up as fast as he can, almost hitting splat right on the on the top of the building. However, he barely just misses it, as then he does a perfect arc over the building and then lands onto the ground below him. On this city block, destruction is seen everywhere, as several shadows look over to see him and then just look away and ignore him and continue their destruction. Seeing Momo as a shadow kind of reminds him Hosu City Hospital. He looks over to see the hospital still intact and completely fresh. It was almost like nothing had even touched the hospital. It was completely deserted of, harm. But that doesn't matter. Right now, he needs to save as many people as he can. But all he can remember is Toga, as he starts to run as fast as he can across the city, finding himself inside of the hospital, running up the stairs, then finally making it to the room of Toga, going past all of the brigades and the different police that were held up in there and all the people that had sought that place out for shelter. He makes it up finally to the room where Toga sits there. She gets up, looking, like with her eyes wide open. She's like, "Whoa, what the hell's happening out there?" As he says, "Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. The fact that you're okay is all I need. Please, now we have to leave." As she says, "Wait, it's the first time I've seen you in almost 2 months. Calm down." As he just like pulls her arm out as then both Mineta and the electricity guy walk in front of the thing, stopping them from exiting the room. As he tries to say, "I banished the shadows," they do nothing. They just stand there. "Get out of my way," as then he puts his hand on top of Mineta's head and tries to chuck him as fast as he can. He's shocked and paralyzed by the lightning guy. However, he still stands on his feet as he stares into the eyes of the soulless, electricity guy. He finally upheaves the ground from below him by kicking it and tossing a gigantic boulder at, the electricity guy, dispersing his lightning. He turns around and picks up Toga's hand again as he says, "We have to get out of this city." However, then he turns around again, and all the shadows are just standing there, staring at him. God damn it! As then he gets back into like a fighting position. But one of the shadows starts to morph, all of them starting to collect into one. This monster, this exact replication of death, this representation of despair, of no hope, in trying to make himself the greatest hope in the world, he had made the world's despair possible. This black hole of a human being. He was all gray, and all you could see is just this person, this shadow, barely opened up its mouth, this hole. Its eyes also represented through holes. It didn't blink, nor did it breathe. It just stared. It starts speaking, saying, "Deku, do not be worried. I am you." As Deku says, "You're not me. You're my trauma." He says, "Yes, that is true. But then again, Deku, all you are our trauma. It's made you who you are. You know, the despair that you have felt. I took it away. I took it all. And this is how you repay me? You take away my one part of family. You take her away from me. How dare you take her away from us, our family? As then they all start to come out of his body, turning into like 12 of the students. They all start to stare at Deku. Once more in this hospital, he says, it's getting a little too stuffy in here for me. He just like puts up his hands as they turn into like scythes. Deku says, duck! As then he pulls Toga down with him, and slices the whole building in half as the top of it just floats there for a second and then like slices off to the side and falls down. All the people above them had been killed with it. He says, why are you killing just without question? Why would you do such destruction? Why? That's a good question. I didn't expect it, actually. The question of why. You see, I have felt so much despair, I wish it upon others. I have sought so much pain that I wish it upon others. If they will not accept you for who you are, then they shall die. They shall all feel the pain that you have felt, and thus they shall realize why this is all happening. Out of anyone, you should know this best, Deku. You should know this best. The eyes start to grow deeper and deeper. The shadow expands to encompass all of the building. The despair and the prosperity battle will continue in the next episode. For now, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.